Really excited to talk about some corners that maybe the Lions should target in the draft because you can argue it's their biggest immediate need.
Hey, let's get into it, man. Hey, you know what? I put up a graphic yesterday of if they were available at pick 29, would you want the cornerback Kool-Aid McKinstry or the DE Chop Robinson?
Ooh, really quick?
Yeah.
I will say Chop Robinson.
Damn right.
Because I have a different
right.
DB defensive back in mind for who I would take.
Ooh, and I want to hear from our booth real quick as well on that. And chat family, if it's available to the Detroit Lions at 29, Chop Robinson, Kool-Aid McKinstry. Before we get into breaking down some cornerbacks, let me know what you guys think as well. What's good, KG?
It would have to be Chop for me. I think his upside far exceeds the upside of Kool-Aid. Now, I wouldn't be mad at Kool-Aid at 29, but to me, he's not a better corner than Terrion Arnold, who was also on his team. I feel like Terrion Arnold is the better corner between the two. I would much rather have that edge rushing help and then try to get your DB in the second round. But that's how I would attack it.
What about you, Mr. JB Smooth, in a TD booth?
I got to go with Chop Robinson as well. I'm not going to be mad if, we end up with Kool-Aid McKinstry, but, who knows? Maybe Brad has another idea in that second round that he thinks of someone else, but Chop Robinson right now, as KG said, has a higher upside, and I think it's just someone that we could use wholeheartedly for this Detroit Lions team. So give me Chop for that first pick.
Let's go. And you know what? On socials, man, a lot of people as well. It's in the stories, people are picking Kool-Aid with the poll. Mm-hmm. In the comment section, everybody seems to be picking Chop Robinson. It's like, what a juxtaposition, man.
Yeah. Wouldn't be mad with either of them, by the way.
Yeah. Can't go wrong.
Yo, but you know what? Let's get to some more cornerbacks. Obviously, behind me, we got up on the board Kool-Aid McKinstry, Quinyon Mitchell.
Oh, yeah.
What's up, man?
All right. So and this is based off the premise that the Lions are using their first pick on a corner. And I gave the option of you could either stay at 29, trade up, or trade back. What I would do if I were Brad Holmes and I was using my first pick in this draft on a corner, I would trade back and go after Kamari Lassiter from Georgia. Kamari Lassiter currently is number 56 on PFF's big board, and one of the reasons he seems to be falling is because he's not exactly an elite athlete. He's not really a workout warrior, but his tape is elite. And let me just give you some numbers on Kamari Lassiter, because he is basically Lassiter Island as his specialty being man coverage. This past season, when targeted, allowed 15 catches for 136 yards, no touchdowns. That's basically nothing. Shut down half the field. Passer rating allowed when targeted, 48.7. Completion percentage allowed when targeted, 38.5. He was graded higher in man coverage than zone, which I like, especially when you're shutting down half the field and have shown the ability to just man up on receivers and shut them down. And he's also a good run defender. But one of the other reasons why I would trade back and take Kamari Lassiter is because I was comparing some of his numbers to the guys that are ranked above him. And right now on PFF's big board, there are 5 cornerbacks who are considered first-round prospects. And I get it, PFF isn't the Bible. It's just a good gauge for right now. Those are Cooper DeJean, Quinyon Mitchell, Nate Wiggins, and then the Alabama duo of Terrion Arnold and Kool-Aid McKinstry.
I see some Cooper DeJean love here in the comments as well.
Oh, yeah.
However, I would take Kamari Lassiter over Cooper DeJean.
Preach, Sam.
Over
Preach.
Cooper DeJean.
Preach.
Yes, and I like Cooper DeJean. Cooper DeJean, just as a side note, was somebody I loved to watch in college.
Yeah.
You all know how I feel about what he did in the Michigan State game, but when you really dive deep into him as a corner, not my favorite prospect. But back to Kamari Lassiter. Of those 5 guys who are considered first round, and then including Kamari Lassiter into this, who is considered a second round pick, Kamari Lassiter, out of all of them, out of 6th, was first in fewest receptions and yards allowed, first in completion percentage allowed. Only Cooper DeJean and Nate Wiggins yielded a lower passer rating. Only Quinyon Mitchell also graded out higher in man coverage. And only Quinyon Mitchell and Nate Wiggins and Kamari Lassiter graded out better in man than zone. So to me, when you talk about a value pick, as somebody who's a great man coverage guy, as a guy who shut down half the field, when he's did a lot of these things in college better than even the top end prospects, like a Terrion Arnold, for example, by the numbers, trading back and getting somebody who maybe has some questions about his athleticism but has elite tape, That is personally what I would do if I were using my first pick, if I were Brad Holmes using the first pick on a corner in the 2024 NFL Draft. Kamari Lassiter out of Georgia.
So you were for the trade back.
Yeah.
Probably pick up more assets.
Yeah.
Grab Lassiter.
Yes.
KG, our other resident ball knower, bro. I got to have your perspective on this as well.
I like Sam's strategy. I prefer Kamari Lassiter over like a Cooper DeJean. Just basically, like, he's a better fit for this defense. Cooper DeJean, he's mostly a zone corner. He's made improvements in man, but I don't think he's a complete fit for this roster, and it's not just because he's white people. It's okay. But when you're going against the likes of like Keenan Allen and Mike Evans and, Justin Jefferson, you're going against those kind of guys every week. I don't know how Cooper DeJean would fare, especially him not being a true man coverage fit for this defense. I would much rather prefer a Kamari Lassiter. I do like his tape a lot. I have seen some of his play, but my person, I would rather move up. That's my move.
Yeah, tell me about that though. Is it Terrion Arnold? Is that the cornerback for you?
It would have to be either Terrion Arnold or Nate Wiggins. That's the only people I would move up for in the corner department. Terrion Arnold, to me, it has the potential to be the best corner in this class.
All right, and I want to ask you guys, because I already know how you feel about moving up. Obviously, you like what Sam is doing. I can't be against it at all.
Yeah.
You get a player that can definitely come in and fill a need, potentially be here for a long time. Pairs probably really, really nice with the cornerback room and the defensive backfield that we have right now.
Sure.
But who would you trade up for? Is there a player that you think, from the cornerback position, this is the guy that the Lions have to go up and have to get?
If I were to trade up for anybody, it would be Quinyon Mitchell, personally, because he's another one that is phenomenal in man coverage. Unlike Kamari Lassiter, is an elite athlete. He is billed a cornerback. That's basically what he is. The main concern about him, and I don't think this is a legit concern, is that, he played at Toledo. How hard was his job? Well, Deron Bland didn't play at a big school, for example. He was all pro. And there are countless other examples as well. You don't have to play at the Ohio States or the Alabamas. It's just with Quinyon Mitchell, he has the upside to be a multiple-time, I think, all-pro corner. But all that being said, on this defense, considering that you could argue that the Lions at least have a starting lineup, although you would like to add more to it, I would prefer to trade back and get a good value with Kamari Lassiter, plus get more assets for maybe more picks that could be used as depth pieces, or maybe even you hit some out of the park like Brad Holmes has shown to do in later rounds, and get some guys that even replace your current starters. Although your current starters are pretty damn good.
And you know what's really cool about this draft, and we've continued to say it, is that whether they choose to trade up, stay put, or trade down, Brad Holmes has put himself in a pretty good position based on how he's drafted previously, based on what he promised and vowed to do in free agency and went out there and did it. And now they get to really waltz into this draft, kick their feet up and say, you know what? Best player available, or more best players available if we want to trade back.
Right.
It's good, KG.
No, I wanted to ask Sam this question since we were on the cornerback topic. TJ Tampa is also a corner that I like a lot, maybe in the second or third round. What are your feelings on TJ Tampa?
Wouldn't be upset. I wouldn't want him at 29. If he were to say fall to 61, though, he's a guy I would take a flyer on, especially in this defense, given that, as I said before, we're not, for example, and this was a bad pick, by the way, we're not looking to get your day one starter like they were trying to do in 2020 with Jeff Okudah. That obviously didn't work out. We're looking for a guy that could maybe start, that could maybe be a depth piece. I mean, depending on like Emmanuel Mosley's health, for example. So TJ Tampa, long, kind of one of those bigger corners.
Yep.
I wouldn't mind it. Not at all.
Hey, look, man, the Lions have the best of all worlds right now heading into this Detroit Lions draft.
Oh, yeah.